Hi everyone, this is Radhika here again. I hope you all are doing well. So this video is going to be about how to be in your masculine energy when you are around a narcissistic female. And most narcissistic females are covert narcissists because they don't want to appear as assholes, and compared to men who are much more like they will just appear as a bully or appear as an asshole. But women usually they try to still put up an appearance of being very nice and kind, and even though maybe inside they have all these negative feelings boiling underneath. So yeah, women are mostly covert narcissists. I've seen very few overtly narcissistic women, and if they are rude in real life, they pretty much are still very genuinely um, just pissed off at everyone. Um, so yeah, so when you are near a covert narcissistic woman, uh, if you are a man, woman, or any gender that you identify with, you have to be in your super strong, true masculine energy to face this covert narcissistic woman. So I'll explain that a little bit. What is masculine energy? What is feminine energy? And I'm going to try to explain it in two ways. So masculine energy has a higher level, which is kind of like masculine energy in its true form. You know, someone who has really understood his masculine side and refined it to be of a higher vibration. So masculine energy in its true form, like how it should be, is protective, goal oriented, action driven, and logic driven. Um, and masculine energy in its shadow form, that is people who are trying to deal with this energy but are not able to like channel it correctly, um, have it in the shadow form. So masculine energy in its shadow form is controlling, bullying, too much action, no thought, very fast, very impatient. They need things fast. You know, they are not able to wait for someone to complete their thought. Um, Also compulsive. So compulsively they have to do something. You know, very it becomes very compulsive or addictive when the masculine energy is not channeled in a proper way, or when it is not refined to a higher degree. um, so this is the higher energy and the lower energy in the masculine side, in the masculine energy. Now feminine energy, when it has been refined to a to a higher degree, is receiving. It's big picture based, so you can actually see the bigger picture in every situation. You can see hidden patterns and recognize why this has happened and what is the reason behind it and what we have to learn from it. So it's a very big picture based energy. So you kind of become like an eagle and you soar high into the sky and you see the big picture, and then you can come back into the situation and you can act accordingly. Um, so masculine energy is very directed, but feminine energy is like a web. It kind of connects everything with everything and then it gets a bigger picture. So yeah, and then it's also very feeling and intuition based. So you are connected with the feelings of everyone in that situation. You can feel what they are feeling and why they are saying the things that they are saying. It's also very creative, and when it goes to a higher level, it's spiritual. You know, it connects you to another other realms. um, and then feminine energy in its shadow form, that is someone who doesn't know how to use their feminine energy in a good way, is emotional tantrums. So feminine energy itself is emotion, it is based on emotions, but in its shadow form, it becomes like a tantrum, a temper tantrum, or drama, or blame, guilt, shaming, all of the emotions in the negative spectrum. Not anger. Anger is a very masculine emotion, but drama, blame, guilt, shaming, manipulation to get things done their way, maybe through emotions, through crying, or a very victim based mentality. So, always thinking or always portraying yourself to be the victim, it's not empowered. It's a female who feels powerless. I mean, not female, whoever has this energy, they feel powerless, they feel like I cannot do anything about this situation. So yeah, so those are the shadow parts of feminine energy. And again, this masculine and feminine energy exists in everyone, whoever, all the human beings who are living. And at some point, these masculine and feminine energy, they join here, and then they kind of become a gender neutral level, which is like closer to divinity. Um, so yeah, so when you are with a covert narcissistic woman, you will see this person showing all aspects of the shadows that I talked about, that is the low vibration energies, and you will see this person showing you both feminine and masculine. So sometimes they might be really angry and they are bullying you, they are trying to force you to do something that you don't want to do. And they will be doing this in every way possible, maybe in the female manipulative way or the male bullying way, or so they, so a person who has narcissistic personality disorder has complete, uh, how do you say, they reign over the negative side of the energies, or the lower side of the energies of masculine and feminine. Sometimes they will act as the victim, even though they are the one who is bullying you, even though they are the one who is pushing their agenda on you, they are manipulating you. But they themselves are a master of all the lower vibration energies of masculine and feminine. So so you won't have so much of mastery over the lower spectrum. So don't try to do what they are doing, because you are never going to be as good as them in that, because and you don't want to be, because you don't want to go down, you want to go up in your progression, right, in life. So yeah, so you will see all these energies. And when you are in a situation where the covert narcissistic person has completely lost it, which is called as the narcissist raging in this online community, that's when a situation happens and the narcissistic person completely loses it, and a big fight is going to happen, and you can sense it, because they have blown their, like their cover is blown now, and they are going to create a big situation and a big drama. You can just feel it. So when you are in this situation, the biggest thing you can do is to stay in your highest masculine energy as much as possible. So this is when you are in that situation. Okay, so when this female who's a narcissistic female has gone all out, so she's doing melodrama, she's crying, she's blaming you, she's shaming you, uh, she's guilting you, and maybe there are other people who are watching it, and she's pulling all the punches. Maybe she's saying some things that are making you really mad, and she's trying her level best to take you to the shadow aspect of the masculine, which is rage, right? She's saying everything in her power to make you maybe hit her or do something that is irresponsible and that will get you into trouble. So she is trying to pull you down to the shadow aspect of the masculine as well as the feminine. So if you are a female and she's another female who's fighting you, maybe you are not so anger based, maybe you are more guilt based. So you go into a depression because you feel like, oh my god, I made her feel like this, or she guilts you so much that you start feeling worthless about yourself. So just understand this at a logical level before you get into that situation, that what they are doing, what this narcissistic female or this group of narcissistic females are doing, is they are trying to pull you down to their level. It's like literally energetically they are trying to pull your energy down to a level which is very constricted. It's not expanded. As you raise your vibration, as you raise your energy, you become more and more expanded. But when you are down here, you are very constricted. It's me versus them, and instead of all of us. So that's where the difference and the constriction begins. So they are trying to pull you down to that level. So, when you are in this situation, your biggest job is to stay in the highest possible masculine, and which is that you assess the situation and you try to get out of there with the least damage. You have to be action oriented, goal oriented, protective. So, in this case, you have to protect yourself. You are not going to get a hero who's going to come and protect you. You have to be your own hero and you have to protect yourself. So protect yourself, be goal oriented. The goal is not to get down to their level. The goal is to get out of the situation with some proper logic, and you have to um, basically stay in the positive vibration of the highest masculine at that point till you get out of it. And then once you get out of it, you can activate your highest feminine, which is kind of understanding the situation, why things are happening, going into your intuition, getting some answers. And then once you have gotten it, it's also a spiritual kind of thing, right? You maybe you try to forgive them, or you try to forget what happened, you try to heal yourself. So all of that is in the feminine aspect, but that you can do afterwards, like after you have left the situation. But I'm saying sometimes in life we come across, even in office, you will sometimes come across situation where a covert narcissistic female is blaming you, guilting you, making you feel bad about something that you did. And especially in an office situation, you can't really become all emotional and do something stupid. So you have to be the mature one in that situation. And I'm not saying by being mature you let them abuse you. What I'm saying is you protect yourself and you form a goal, you form an action so that you can get out of that situation with the least damage and with all of your grace intact. If you're a woman or a man, we all have grace, right? We all have a decorum or a way or morals, or what you call is the gentleness. When we call someone a gentleman or a gentlewoman, it is because they have certain manners and certain morals that they try to uphold in every situation, no matter how bad the situation is. And our aim at that point is to protect ourselves physically, mentally, and also to protect our morals. We don't want to get down to their level, we don't want to stoop down. We want to stay in this area of gentleness, of dignity, of how a person treats another person with dignity, or how they should treat another living being with dignity. So so you have to remember, in that situation you have to become like a warrior, and a warrior who has to protect themselves, but also a warrior who's not cruel. So you don't become cruel like the narcissist is. So if they are saying some things that are below the belt, and which make you feel really bad, they are doing that because they want you to respond with similar thing. They want you to say the worst thing possible you can think about them. And once you have said it, that's the moment you have lost your gentleness, you have lost your decorum, or you have lost your morals and manners. And maybe afterwards you do feel that, oh, why did I say that? I shouldn't have said that. And that's okay, because we all are human and we all are learning all the time. But when you are in with a covert narcissist, this situation is going to happen again and again. So in that case, you can kind of retrospect or introspect on things, and you can formulate your plan beforehand before you're dealing with this covert narcissistic person. And not all of us have the option to always avoid them. So especially if you are in that situation where you can't always avoid a particular person, or even later on you might work with someone and you might suddenly realize in some situation that this person is a covert narcissist, because they might suddenly throw you under the bus in some situation. So in those times, if you already know this, if you remember this, to stay in your masculine, to not do anything by getting emotional in that particular case, then it will help you a lot, or at least that's what I think will happen. And I have been through this when this has happened to me, and I have stayed in my masculine. And later on, like after a month, or a day or two or a month, you feel so proud of yourself, because it was a test, it was a bad situation, and in that bad situation you did not stoop to another person's level, because you do not belong there, you belong at a much higher level. um, so yeah, and another thing you can do is, you can, when this narcissist is raging against you, you can kind of compare them to a toddler, because I have a toddler and toddlers behave like this. Sometimes they want something, and if they don't get it, they will throw any tantrum they can to get that particular thing. And so basically they are dealing with some really big emotions that are coming inside of them, which is like control, because they want a certain thing and they want it. So sometimes even elders or adults, they behave like toddlers. So you can try to kind of picturize them as a toddler, and think that they haven't grown up yet, and which actually a lot of adults really haven't grown up yet. um, so yeah, so energetically you can think of this whenever this situation happens. If you are good with visualizations, or just look up a video on YouTube of this, but you can imagine that this is what is happening. The narcissist woman, the covert narcissist, is like an ocean during high tide. So her emotions are like oceans, or the things that she's saying, the energy that she's putting out is like waves and waves of water, emotion. And they are just raging, and they are raging against this cliff, okay, this cliff of a mountain cliff. And that mountain cliff is you, because you have to be this strong, immovable, rocky, tall coastal mountain, which is protecting the village behind it from these waves. So you have to be this kind of really strong person who knows his or her own worth, and whose worth is not determined by what this covert narcissistic woman is saying. And you have to be that mountain, and you are not going to be disturbed at all. So all these waves, they can come crashing on you, and the waves, they think that they are going to break you, but that never happens, because you are an immovable mountain, and no one can move this mountain. So I know that it gets very, very tricky when you are in a bad situation with a narcissistic person, because we all have emotions and we all feel a lot of things. And when they get very personal with you, when they try to attack you, or the work that you are doing, or your intelligence, or your character, or your family, or a whole lot of things that no one should be no one, it's a boundary, right? No one should be talking about those things in a bad way or in a good way. They should just not be talking about it. But yeah, the narcissistic woman will do it in a really below the belt, very crude and cheap kind of a way. So you have to be in your highest masculine at the time, and you need to realize that no one can define you, because you define yourself. And whatever words this woman is saying, they are like waves. They will come to you, they will crash on you, and they will go back. All of them have to go back. None of them are going to actually be able to break you. And she can keep on trying, and finally the ocean will settle down. Finally this narcissistic woman will have expended all of her energy, and then finally she will become quiet. And you can go back to being the mountain that you are, and standing tall and protecting other people and protecting yourself. So yeah, that was this video. I hope it was helpful to you. And if you have any other ways in which you protect yourself, or you try to survive in such situations, I would love to hear about it. So please do write in the comments. And as always, I wish you all a lot of love and a lot of light. Thank you. Bye.